The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone. Okay, you ever read this stuff online about like natural cures and you wonder if it's real or not? Oh, sorry, I gotta tell you, if I'm talking funny, it's because I just got back from the dentist. I'm still kind of numb, so if I'm talking all weird, it's because of the anesthetic. I gotta talk to you about something really important. I just want to get the word out. So like, I don't care if I'm numb and I'm not fixed up, whatever. You guys gotta hear about this. Tell me what you think after. Okay, you know sometimes you see these articles about like these miracle natural cures online. Do you ever wonder like, is this for real or are these people just doing this to get clicks or whatever, right? Well, I've seen articles about oil pulling before, and sometimes they sound almost miraculous. They say things like, oh, my husband was oil pulling for a week and his cavity went away and his whole tooth grew back and it's all white and perfect. And I look at this and I'm thinking kind of, is this for real or, you know, whatever, right? Well, as you see, I've been to the dentist. I just had some dental work done. And I had an experience with oil pulling and I really want to tell you about it. So let me tell you about what happened with my tooth. Oh, I went to the dentist because I was having heat sensitivity in this tooth. Like after I got back from Cuba, I took a sip from my coffee and I noticed it was heat sensitive. So I know that's not a good sign. So I called my dentist up right away and I said, I have a heat sensitive tooth. So she does the x-rays and she says, well, I don't see anything wrong with that tooth. I don't know why it's heat sensitive. But you have one tooth here that has a big cavity that needs to be filled and another one over there that needs to be filled, a small cavity. And you have a couple where the fillings need to be replaced. I have a lot of plastic fillings, like the white fillings, and they don't last very long. So I was like, okay, fine. So I take an appointment. Then I went down to New York and I had to cancel my appointment because my trip had to be that week and that was the week of my appointment. Cancel it. I come back. I make a new appointment. It's for 2 weeks later. The day of or before my appointment, she calls me and she's like, I have to cancel. I have to teach at the university. So now it's been a couple weeks since I got the news that I need fillings. So I start kind of panicking because I'm having a little bit of pain. So I call up these dentists. I find this one guy specializes in root canals, as it so happens. I call him up and I'm like, I've got a problem with my tooth. Maybe I need a root canal. Can you do an x-ray? I just wanted to have a look at it, just maybe reassure me. Or if not, well, you know, maybe have to take care of it. So I go to see this dentist and I had this really bad experience. So first of all, he starts testing all my teeth with something like dry ice. And when he gets to that tooth, it hurts. I go through the roof. This is really, really painful. So I'm freaking out. I'm like super anxious about him testing the other teeth. And finally, I get up the nerve. He tests all my teeth and he says, you need a root canal in this tooth. So I'm like, okay. I prayed before I went in. I was like, Lord, this is in your hands. Please help me out. I got problems with my teeth. Please just sort this out for me. Please, like, bless me so that everything goes well, whatever. I didn't say whatever. I said, you know, in Jesus' name, amen. So then I go in and, you know, he checks my teeth and he says you need a root canal. So I said, okay, just, Sonia, be brave. Just get the root canal. I know root canals aren't good, but I didn't want to pull the tooth. I can't afford, like, one of those implants. And so I just thought, well, he's a specialist. Just do one root canal. So, he goes to freeze me and I told him I'm really hard to freeze. He's like, don't worry, you know, I got it. I'm professional. So he goes to freeze my tooth, and the way he did it, I felt like I'd been given drugs. Like I felt all charged up. I was like, ugh. So he comes in a few minutes later, he's like, how is tooth? I'm like, well, I'm not numb, but I feel like I'm on drugs and my hands feel weird. And he starts laughing. He's like, okay, I'll give you some more. He gives me another hit. Again, I feel like, are you sure that's Novocaine and not, you know, cocaine? But he gives me the stuff. I get all again. I'm starting to really panic too. I feel like really anxious about that. I'm like, oh, please God, don't let me die. If this, whatever he just put in my mouth, it feels like I'm on drugs. I don't want to die. I've got a family. I'm like freaking out, you know? So he comes back in later. He's like, how are you now? And I said, well, you know, my throat has gone numb and, you know, I feel like I'm bad tripping. Anyway, he's like, you're fine. Your tooth is numb. He goes to start the work. And as soon as he just puts the grid thing on my teeth, like the clamp, it hurts so much. I'm like, take it off. It's killing me. Takes it off. And he gives me some more, and he's like, "You are numb, I promise you." I'm like, "I promise you, I'm not." Anyway, he humors me. He starts jabbing me with the needle all over my mouth. I start getting a little more numb, and I'm like, "Okay, be brave. Let him just do it." Puts the clamp on. I can handle the clamp. He goes to do a root canal on my tooth, and as soon as he starts drilling in, I feel everything. And I've never had a root canal on a live tooth, and I'm thinking, my goodness, is this how it feels? This is crazy. I can't do this. So I'm like, stop, stop. He stops everything. I'm telling him, listen, I'm telling him not numb. He's like, "You're numb. You're just nervous." He's from like Iran or something. He's like, "I've patient like you before. You need sedation. You're just too nervous." And I'm like, "I'm not nervous. I'm in pain." He doesn't believe me. Anyway, I leave, and I'm like, "Oh, what am I going to do now?" And in the couple weeks up to this appointment, I'd started oil pulling a bit, and I'm thinking, "Oh, I don't know how much it's going to do, but whatever, I'll do it. Worth a try." So after this, I'm like, I call my dentist. I can't get another appointment for another month. So I thought, well, I got to do something. So I'm going to start oil pulling. So I'm oil pulling every morning, every night with coconut oil. Sorry, I got to put this thing to sleep. Go to sleep. So I'm oil pulling every morning, every night with coconut oil with a drop of clove and a drop of oregano oil in it, and I'm just praying. So I go back to my dentist today. Okay, first of all, she does the X-rays. Okay, she sees the guy drilled like right near my nerve. She goes to freeze me. Everything goes well. This dentist knows what she's doing. I get totally numb. Everything's good. She goes right in, she starts taking out the filling on the tooth that other guy said needed a root canal. But she's looking at it and she's like, on the X-ray, she's like, "It doesn't look to me like it needs a root canal." She goes in and she's like, "No, it doesn't look like you need a root canal. I'm not anywhere near the nerve." She cleans it out. It doesn't even take an hour. The tooth next to it that she said, this one has some redecayed and like the filling needs to come out, filling's loose. She's like, "It looks fine. I just polished it a bit so there's not like a crack at the edge where the filling is." She looks at the other teeth on the X-ray and she's like, "No, the other filling that needs to be removed is there's no really redecay, and the other one, well, it looks like you have some redecay. It doesn't look that bad though." But she fills this tooth today and she says, "Your tooth's going to be fine." In the meantime, also, the heat sensitivity has gone away from the tooth that originally they thought needed a root canal. And the heat sensitivity that came after the drilling from the root canal doctor on this tooth, that heat sensitivity is gone. My tooth doesn't hurt. So my dentist, she looks at my X-ray, she looks at my teeth, and she says, "I don't think you need any root canals." So I went from someone who was told, "You have 2 dying teeth in your mouth. You need 2 root canals, or 1 dying and 1 like any day gonna die." I went from that to someone who doesn't need any root canals, had 1 filling done. That wasn't such a big deal. Tooth is gonna survive. And the other 2 fillings that need to be replaced, maybe they don't even need to. Okay, so I can't say that it's the oil pulling that did it, but if look at the X-ray. I'm gonna show you a picture of the X-ray, and here's the tooth that had the big cavity in it, and this is the before picture. Here's a little arrow showing you where the cavity is. You see it's pretty big. Here is the after picture, as in this is 6 weeks later, like a month after the dentist tried to root canal it. You can see the filling from where he stuck his drill down into the middle of my tooth. And you can see the cavity, and you can see that it's not like as dark. I'm not sure, you know, I'm not an X-ray specialist, but if you look at these 2, it kind of looks like the cavity was bigger and worse 6 weeks ago than it is now. And like I said, when she went in there, she said, "This tooth doesn't need a root canal." So I'm skeptical when I read things online about oil pulling or about whatever. But I just did this for 6 weeks. And like I said, I went from someone who needed all these root canals and fillings and like the news wasn't good to now I don't really have much of a problem. So what do you think? I mean, did the oil pulling do that? Well, I'm going to keep oil pulling because in any case it doesn't seem to be doing me any harm. And I'll let you know how it goes down the road. And right now I'm just kind of like, well, wow, what happened? Is this real? Because that would be pretty cool if you could remove decay and help your teeth heal naturally by using oil pulling. Wouldn't that be amazing? So I'm not saying that it worked, but I can't rule it out either that it helped, because the before and after pictures, it's like my tooth is remineralizing, and also what the dentist said, it has changed a lot in the 6 weeks that I've been doing the oil pulling. And I know you like proof, so that's why I'm showing you the pictures. And that's it. If you have any experience with oil pulling, let me know how it's been for you. Oh, and I realized after, it's really lucky that the root canal doctor wasn't able to freeze me, because if he had, he would have done a root canal that I didn't need. So, you know, maybe my prayers were answered. Thanks be to God. So let me know what you think. Thanks for liking this video, and thank you for subscribing. Thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.